Welcome everyone. In today's episode I will show the process of inspecting and cleaning a Mauser Model 93 rifle, also known as the Spanish Oviedo. The idea for the video came from a situation I experienced at the shooting range. Fortunately I was filming at the time, so I'm able to show exactly what happened. As you can see, the front band popped out of the stock when I fired it, so I decided to check what I could do about it. Since I had disassembled it before, I figured it would be a good opportunity to take a look inside as well. To start off, I took out the bolt. It won't be covering it today since I already cleaned and inspected it beforehand. The front band, which also serves as the bayonet lock, came off easily. The rear band gave me more trouble. I started by trying to loosen it up by some unscrewing. However, my attempts didn't work, and since I didn't want to risk damaging it, I figured I would just work around it. Eventually, a bit of gentle tapping did the trick. Now I was able to remove the handguard. There are some pits on the barrel, but overall it's in good shape, so I kept going. Taking out the magazine wasn't hard at first. The screws came out fine. But it just didn't want to come loose, so I gave it a few taps. Not exactly how I planned it, but that's fine. And finally I managed to pull the mag out. I noticed some cracks in front part of the stock. I will take care of those later. Turned out there were quite a few chunks missing too. No wonder front band felt so loose. Most videos I've seen show the drop plate coming out super easily. Not for me. took the right tool and a bit of force to get it done. Just had to pull out the spring and that was it. I know I could broken it down even further, but I'll be honest, didn't feel like it. So here's how it's going so far. Now it's time to clean things up. If anyone recognizes this marking, let me know in the comments. I'm guessing it's just a quality stamp, but I can be wrong. Most parts were caked in a mix of grease, dirt, dust and rust. I tried cleaning the stock with what I had on hand, but the results weren't great. I'll probably come back to that other time. Getting the grime off wasn't too bad, but the rust took more work. I wanted to avoid damaging the bluing. Once I had things cleaned up, I started putting some parts together so I wouldn't lose anything. A bad plate is a good example of how nasty it was. These longer cleaning segments are a good chance to talk a bit, so here's something. I always thought 7-on-57 ammo would be easier to find and that reloading it would be cheaper. I'm curious what your experience is. How much does it cost you to load a single round? Please let me know in the comments. After cleaning, it was time to deal with these stock cracks. I really didn't want this rifle falling apart in my hands, so step 1 was degreasing everything. There were cracks running almost the full length. Makes me think the stock might be not original and was just forced on. I used a 2-part epoxy glue for the repair because of the waterproof and heat resistant. Also picked a clear one to keep the fixed low profile. Tried to apply it evenly so it would fill all the gaps. Some spots inside were tricky to reach, but I managed. Clamped it all together and let it dry. The instructions said 24 hours should be enough, but yeah, it was still tacky. Took a few days to fully cure. I did the gluing in 2 stages. In second one, I focused on cleaning up the front and reattaching a piece that broke off when I removed a pin. Thanks to its size, a zip tie turned out to be the best clamp for the job. And that's how it looked. Just had to let it dry again. A few days later, the moment of truth has come. The glue had great, just needed a light sanding to smooth things out. At this point, I could start reassembling everything. Then came one last issue. One of the parts had way too much play. You could wedge something in there to tighten it up, but I just bent it slightly to make it fit snug. If you've got any good tips for cleaning up wood, drop them in the comments. I would love to hear them. Once everything was back together, I gave it a quick function check. All good. Here's a tip to the cock. Push forward, press trigger, release, and then handle down. And for the testing the barrel bend, I used this M41 Toledo bayonet. As you can see, it moves slightly, but it stays in place, so I would call that a successful fix. And that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to drop a like, share any tips or feedbacks in the comments, especially on cleaning and maintenance. And I will see you in the next one.